A lot of folks, they'll narrow it down to the IRR, and especially if you want to go into these crowdfunding sites and then filter by return. It's not always, the high return isn't always a good thing for you.
Exactly.
Joseph is the founder of ROI Muse, a commercial real estate software and training company. He's also an active multifamily syndicator and coach that has trained over 4,000 agents in commercial and multifamily real estate. We'll bring him up now. How you doing, Joseph?
I'm doing great. How are you, Chris?
Doing well. Always enjoy talking with you. So
congratulations congrats on the book launch.
Thanks. It was a weird evolution on how that story played out, but we're really excited. Jamie and I have been wanting to do that for a long time, so here we are. You've got a vast experience, not only working on the brokerage side as an investor side, but then also coaching other brokers and investors. What should investors look for when they're considering their first syndication?
Oh, lots of stuff, right? So agree with what the previous speaker said. Operator always is up on the top to make sure that you connect with the operator. I think more importantly, how they communicate, right? Are they easy to access? Are they local in the market where you're buying the property? A lot of those things that you should be looking at. When you try to reach out to them, are they going to return your phone call, right? Or are they going to respond to your emails? So those are all very important. Communication is very important. And look at their track record and how many other properties they have and what their credibility is. But I think more importantly, even more than that is, does their strategy agree with what you're trying to accomplish, right? So, you can be doing a development project where you can get a high return. You're also high risk in the next couple of years. Or you can do a stabilized property where you have a stable return from day one. Or you can do a value-add property to get maybe less returns in the first couple of years, but pick it up later, and when you sell or refinance, you get a higher return. So you have to look at what the operator is doing is in agreement with your own strategy about how you want to grow your wealth. So
that's really important, because a lot of folks they'll narrow it down to the IRR, and especially if you want to go into these crowdsourcing, crowdfunding sites, Cadre, Realty Mogul, those guys, and then filter by return. It's not always. The high return isn't always a good thing for you.
Exactly. So that's exactly what I mean. Right? You have to look at. Okay, you can look at IRR. What is IRR? Right? It's because you have uneven cash flows, and it's kind of an annualized return when it's all said and done, when the property is sold. Now, if you want your money back sooner, then that may not be the best way to look at it, right? You may be looking at, I'm not getting much of a cash flow for the first 3 years, but at the end, when they sell it in 5 years, I'm going to get a decent IRR, and I don't mind waiting as long as I get my return. So those are some of the things that you look at. But we always tell people, look at the market first. You should know which markets you want to invest in based on the fundamentals, right? I know this is, everybody talks about it, but it's a good reminder for people to look at to see, is the market improving? Is the population growth, the job growth, the new construction, average household income, median home price, are all those things better in the market? Because you want to invest in I think the first thing is to select the right market that you want to invest in. You're obviously looking for a landlord-friendly, business-friendly states to invest in, so that way there are no regulations or law changes that may surprise or impact your returns. Then you look at the location of the property and make sure that's a good location. So you start with the market, narrow it down to the sub-market and the location of the property. And then you also look at the property itself. Does it make sense, right? So I think some of these things that passive investors should do at least some due diligence to find out, is this what I want to invest in, right? Is it do I want to invest in a value add play, knowing that I'm taking a risk along with the operators of, hey, this may play out pretty good for me, or it may not, right? So, or do I want to go into a stabilized investment where I can get a preferred return and get a cash flow from day one? So those are some of the things that you look at. And obviously the last one, but not least, is the operator, right? See, do you like the operator? Can you get along with the operator, right? And I also tell people to look at, a lot of passive investors want to become active, or they want to become syndicators or co-sponsors. you also look at, is this the team that I want to work with? So in my own example, I invested with certain groups, knowing that those are the people I may want to partner with in the future as co-sponsors. So I have the same personality, or I like them personally. So that's another thing that you have to look at. If that is your goal, is to get into a co-sponsorship or becoming a GP, then you might as well invest with people that you want to be business partners in the future.
Yeah. And you got a shout out on ROI Muse. It looks like you got either a customer or prospective customer in there, which I highly recommend too. Operator, so you answered this question: operator over opportunity, over the asset. So, one of the greatest things, because you were talking about different markets, is you're essentially buying a business. That's all a multifamily property is. It's a business that brings in income, rents, and maybe some smaller, other income from laundry and all kinds of other stuff.
Well, these days, more of the other income.
Well, that's how you can make a low cap rate and extract more value.
Right.
Operators definitely have to be more creative to boost the returns. But how would you compare? So, say you've got a passive investor. One of your coaching students is got a passive investor, and they're just wondering, completely not naive, but wanting your actual professional advice: cash on cash return or IRR. What should they pay attention to most? Because they're very different.
It depends on the strategy, right? So if you're looking to invest into a value add property, your cash on cash return is going to be low. That's the whole definition of a value add, right? So in that case, the only thing you can look at is
you could have zero. Some of these have zero for maybe the first 12.
It may be zero for the first couple of years, right? Or very little, right? Because the whole idea is go in there and improve the property and increase the rents up. But if you're looking for cash on cash return, then you should look at a stabilized property that you can invest in that is going to give you a cash flow, even cash flow from day one, right? So that is the strategy that I was talking about, right? Based on your strategy, if you don't care about cash flow, then if you want the highest return possible and you're willing to take the highest risk, then look at development projects, right? That technically has the highest risk, highest reward, right? But if you want to be somewhere in the middle, then look at value add apartments. So that is kind of where our niche has been, to look at value add apartments for the most part.
So your target right now is value add.
Yes, and value add in Texas markets, particularly in Dallas market.
Is there any other markets that have really, outside of Texas? A lot of our audience is in Texas, but this is a international podcast.
Yes.
But outside of Texas in the U.S., are there any other markets that maybe not be obvious, but are worth considering?
I think by strategy, we are trying to focus our business in Dallas because we are local. Most of our partners are local. And for us to get the efficiencies and having a lot of units in one place makes sense. So we can save money on construction, we can save money on property management. There are other efficiencies of being. So that's been our strategy. But just connected with other syndicators, Atlanta, Georgia, for example, Boise, Idaho, Denver, Phoenix. Those are all pretty hot markets that people are looking to find deals. Right? Those will be the places that I look for.
Love it. Thank you so much, Joseph. And again, if anyone hasn't checked out his software, ROI Muse, I use it. I wish that was available before I built out very complicated Excel spreadsheets, but I use it.
Yeah, if anybody wants to check us out, is ROIMuse.com. That's ROI for return on investment, MUSE.com. And you can reach out to me, Joe at ROIMuse.com as well.
Awesome.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Bye.